Hey, if you're already making sales with your coaching or consulting business or any type of high-ticket service really, you already know one thing, money is in the follow-up. You already know this. You probably heard it in every sales training you've ever taken. And yet, if you're watching this video, it's very likely that you're aware that you're leaving money on the table. And not because you don't know any better, but because scaling follow-up is generally hard, either because you don't have the time or because the cost of managing the sales team, it doesn't justify the return. Maybe you're in that phase of the business. I know because I've been there. The good news is, in 2026, there is a direct solution to this problem, which is called AI voice agent. Hear this out. The global voice AI agent market is forecasted to grow by 2034 to $47.5 billion. We're now in 2026 at $4.4 billion, and we are growing at a pace of almost 35% a year. And this is not just a trend to watch. It's a system you can install in your system even this quarter. By the end of this video, you understand what the AI voice agents actually are, the 5 specific situations that generate real revenue for coaches and consultants and high-ticket services, the real economics behind each one, and the one condition that determines if this works or fails completely. By the way, my name is Ruben Davoli. I built and scaled a high-ticket coaching business past $3 million, and today I run an AI automation agency focusing on what actually moves the needle in the business. So let's get started with what is actually an AI voice agent in the context of sales. Think of it like a phone call version of you chatting with your ChatGPT, but instead of waiting for questions, the AI in this case is proactive. And there are 2 main categories. The inbound, where the AI voice agent takes the call. For example, someone is calling a restaurant or a clinic, and the agent takes over and manages any questions and organizes the booking. Or outbound, which is what we're going to focus mostly today, where the AI agent actually does the calling for your business. So calls the leads proactively, train on your script, your tone, and your qualification logic. Before we go over the different type of voice agents, there's one condition you need to understand in order for any of these to work, which is the AI agent needs to be educated, needs to be trained on the script that already converts with your human sales team. If the script doesn't convert or your offer is not even clear, is not stable, then there's nothing that AI can do. So use case number 1 is speed to lead on a funnel with free opt-in. So think about the classic lead magnet where besides collecting the email address, you also collect a phone number. And in this case, the AI voice agent calls within 60 seconds because there's been a study from Harvard's Business Review, you might have heard about this already, that if you call your leads across all industries within 60 seconds, your revenue can increase up to 391%, almost 4x. Okay, so if you're making 100K a year, just by doing this, you can go up to 400K a year. Okay, this is one of the greatest opportunities with using AI voice agent. The goal here, when the agent calls, it depends business by business. It might be to book an appointment with the sales team. It might be directing to other resources. If you already have a funnel like this, you already know, you probably already have a script of what the appointment setters should say when someone gets your lead magnet, okay? The difference here is that you can automate it and scale it in big volumes. So use case number 2 is still a speed to lead opportunity, but in this case, instead of opting in your funnel for free, we are in the essential model that goes from a low to high ticket purchase. So obviously the opportunity here is for the agent also to call as soon as possible, but the call and dynamics are going to be slightly different. For instance, instead of calling within 60 seconds, the call will happen most likely within 10, 20 minutes, whatever makes sense for your business, because typically after the first purchase, there is maybe some one-time offers they might be able to buy, or some videos to watch, some actions to take. So whenever it makes sense, you can program the agent to call the client, because here is the moment of the peak of the interest. And so the call also, it's half brand experience where you welcome the client into the program, and then shift into a conversation where you qualify the lead and offer them to book a call with one of your sales member. Okay, and I'll give you a tip here, because one of the main objections in this type of funnel is that, okay, let me watch the course first and then I will book a call. And here there are different ways to handle this, but one of the most common is to say, hey, what we realize after working with X amount of clients is that the ones that get the most results are the ones that are able to book this call, which, by the way, I would recommend you already promote inside the funnel. And if they haven't booked independently, you can call them and say, you're entitled to book this call, and the member of our team will able to point out to the most valuable part of the program. Because the reality is that even for courses that are 1-2 hours long, not everyone finishes them, not everyone starts them. So this really helps them to go through the course and get them the member of your team to guide them through how to make really the most out of it. Okay, so this is again one of the highest, greatest opportunity of using AI voice agent. The economics works similar to the one before. If anything, they can even be better because the conversation are higher quality with clients versus free leads. Obviously, there's a difference in volume, but both work great. Let's go ahead with use case number 3, which is the dead lead reactivation. So this is actually the very first use case that I tested myself in my own business and generated results. And so let me tell you briefly the story. After running that coaching business for a few years, we had approximately 15,000 clients, and so we had a decent list of numbers that we could call that became idle after some time. And so we did a test on a section of this list, about 3,000 leads, and we used the same script that our human appointment setter were using in the past, and we trained the AI voice agent on this script in order to say, hey, this is Emma from XYZ team. You bought something from us in the past. Does it ring a bell, etc. And then from there, it started a qualification process to identify the ones that were still interested in solving their problems and with the goal of booking a call with someone of our team. And this is a test that kind of made me then switch my entire business model and do what I do now full time, because not only we were able to book calls, but that's the very first time that those calls also converted into revenue. So we spent in that case study about $457 for the cost of the voice AI agent and generated $6,800 with 2 high ticket sales in the matter of just 15 days. And so I said, this is something very powerful. Obviously, a lot of businesses have idle lists that they know they should work on, but the reality is that either they don't do it at all, or if they do, it's never going to be so accurate at scale. Okay, so with the AI voice agent technology, now you can actually go really granular on this. If you want to watch the full case study with all the KPIs, you're going to find a link in the description where you can watch everything. You can book a call with me in case it's something interested to apply in your own business for this or any of the case study we're talking about. Let's go ahead with use case number 4, which is the no-show recovery. This is a big problem in the industry because there's always some leakage in the no-shows. The industry average is 20 to 40% of no-show rate, and unfortunately, most of their revenue just disappears. So the opportunity here is to have a voice AI agent calling the lead that didn't show up within minutes. And you might say, okay, this is already something my sales team is doing, which is fine. But at the same time, if nobody responds after that, does your sales team actually keep following up a few hours later, a few days later? Most likely, in my experience, it doesn't really happen at scale, especially. So the AI agent, you can plan it in this case in a workflow where you can call how many times you want, even 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times until the lead responds or until you disqualify completely. And obviously, by putting this into process, you're going to have a much higher response rate of lead that will be reinserted again in your pipeline. So just to give an idea, an example of the economics, how this could work, let's say conservative numbers, maybe you're making 80 calls, you're booking 80 calls a month, and let's say that 20 of these calls are no-shows that are reactivated by the AI. If your offer is, let's say, $5,000 and your sales team close rate is 30%, just by applying this alone, you will look at it into $30K a month extra just because you have an agent that automatically is able to rebook calls for your team. Okay, now let's go ahead with use case number 5, which is the post VSL or webinar follow-up. Because the problem here, again, in the coaching industry is that there's a lot still of this type of funnels going on, and 90% of people that watch your content don't book the call. Okay, there's a percentage, you already know the percentage in your business if you're running this type of funnel, how many of those book a call. But the ones that don't, they need to be follow up. And sometimes emails are not enough. You need to actually call them. And so the opportunity here is for the AI voice agent to call on the same day after whatever time makes sense for your business. Referencing the content, you can instruct the agent based on what's happened in the webinar or in the VSL. And again, the logic should be already familiar to you, depending if you're already having a script that your human sales team uses to re-engage with these clients. And basically the same thing can be trained on the AI voice agent that does it for you at scale for the 90% of people that didn't book a call. Okay, so again, some simple economics here, conservative numbers. Let's say you get just 500 views a month on your VSL and 5% book a call. Okay, So that's kind of what already you're aware of, already generating revenue in your business. But let's say that this AI voice agent converts just the 3% of the remaining 475 views. That means that is 14 calls, also assuming a 5K offer, a 30% closing rate. Only by doing this, it's another 21K that will be added to your business by using an AI agent that follows up on your leads consistently. So these were the top 5 use cases that in my experience actually moved the needle in a business. But if you want to hear an actual real call, not just a demo, a call where an AI voice agent calls a prospect and you want to see how it handles objections, how it follows the framework of questions, etc., then you can always in the description find the link with the full case study, with the recording of the call that not only brought appointment in the calendar, but also generated sales, which is the most important thing. And I think the reason why you're still here at the end of the video. So you're going to find in the description. If you like this type of video, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.